Entitlement to carers leave is expected to come into force on 6th of April in 2024. Well, what does this mean for employers? My name is Jenefer, I'm the founder of Silk Helix, and we work with businesses to get the best out of your teams whilst keeping you compliant with employment law through HR advice, management training and our digital products. So let me explain exactly what carers leave is and what it means for you as an employer. So carers leave is the entitlement to time off for anybody, and this will be a day one right. So from the start of employment, entitlement to time off for anybody who is dealing with long-term care needs for a dependent or a dependent with a terminal illness. So this will be leave for up to a week in any 12-month period, which can be taken in as little as half a day. It doesn't have to be consecutive. So you could have somebody take 10 half days across a year. You could have somebody take 1 week solid. It will vary, and the options, obviously everything in between is in there as well. It's planned leave. So this is where it's different to time off for dependents, which is unplanned, unexpected incidents. Time off for dependents is dealing with those situations as and when they arise where somebody is dependent on you, whether that be a child or potentially an adult who's dependent on you and needs care, needs something to deal with that situation, and it's usually for the purpose of arranging longer term care or dealing with a particular situation and then going back to work. Whereas this carers leave is a little bit more along the lines of parental leave in that it's planned leave. The difference between parental leave only applies to children dependents, is blocks for a week unless the child is registered disabled, but both of them are unpaid and both of them are planned and you have to give notice. Carers leave is notice of double the length of leave that you require or 3 days, whichever is longer. Employers can turn down a request for carers leave where it's going to have an undue impact on the business. It's an excessive impact on the business. Now, you're going to have to explain to an individual why you're delaying it, and they have to be able to take it within a month of the original requested date. So declining it is not hugely helpful to employers. If it's a particular thing going on, which means on that particular day it's really going to cause a really big problem, you could turn it down. We wouldn't really recommend it unless it really is that serious. Ultimately, if somebody's taken this time off to provide that care, there's probably a reason they need it on that particular day. So we do need to balance that as well. If somebody's providing long-term care or care for somebody who's terminally ill, they are also struggling. They're in a point in their life where things are quite difficult for them. So as employers, if we can support people through these periods, there is a benefit to the business of doing that in that we get loyalty back from people. Often people give back more than we give. So it is worth thinking about that. And from a morale perspective, also from the perspective that other employees see what we've done for this particular employee, and they'll see that actually if they hit hard times, they'll get that too. Now there's always balancing that. There's always making it work for the business, making sure that the job is still getting done, and that has to be balanced in there as well. But there are benefits of supporting employees because we are human, we are dealing with things, whether that's at work, out of work, they do collide, they do come together. Forgive the quick interruption to this video, and I will keep it really quick. If you've liked this video, found it useful, you can of course hit the subscribe button, but I also want to tell you about our digital courses. In our digital courses, I go into much more detail. The videos are very similar to these. It's me, it's on camera, but there's also downloads, there's sample forms, there's a few sample policies in there as well. All the things that you need to know. We've even got some coming where we've got live classes as well. So check out our digital courses. Details are on screen now and in the description below. Look forward to seeing you on one of our courses in the future, and in the meantime, I'll let you get back to the video. But ultimately, what this does is provides an additional week that somebody can take off of work in order to be able to provide the care that they need to provide. Many people have been doing this for years, sort of within their annual leave and things like that as well. So this just gives an extra week on top of that. So hopefully for most employers, it's not going to be a huge burden. It's unpaid parental leave, time off for dependents. Neither of them are particularly highly taken up. Time off for dependents more so because it's those unexpected situations we just get stuck in and we just have to deal with it. Whereas planned parental leave doesn't have a huge take up. So it'll be interesting to see whether that take up is there in carers leave. But the key thing is that employers know about it. Make sure that you update your family friendly policies to include carers leave. Make sure that you're informing employees. Make sure that you're responding appropriately to requests, that you recognise that from the 6th of April this will be statutory entitlement, people will be able to request that. You can't treat somebody unfavourably because they've requested or because you think they might request, so that's something to be aware of as well as an employer. And make sure that your managers have got training to recognise these requests, because this often happens that we in the HR department, we know this law is coming in, but managers don't get told, they don't recognise the request, and that's when the problems come and the problems trickle down. So make sure that you've got that policy in place and that you've communicated it throughout the business so everyone knows, understands and recognises that this is there and people have the entitlement, and this is how they're going to respond to those requests as and when, or if when they come in. If you want support with any of that, with updating your policies, making sure that your managers have got the relevant training and information on it, then check out the description below with details about how you can work with us. In the meantime, I'll be keeping you up to date with all of the 2024 employment law updates. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single one, and subscribe to our newsletter so that you do get all the updates as and when they happen. Link is in the description below.